Welcome to the Redeemed Vision podcast, where we bring sight to the blind and freedom to those enslaved by our pornified culture. Here, we dive into hard but important topics such as pornography, sexual identity, true freedom, real love, and living marriage well. Go deep with us as we uncover what redeemed vision means for each of us living in the world today. Come to know yourself, the power of redemption through Jesus Christ, the joy of laughter, and how to live in gratitude and wonder. This is Redeemed Vision.
This is Steve Picorni, and you are listening or watching the Redeemed Vision podcast. It's an honor to have you here today. And today, we're going into a really important topic. So if you would, please like, share, subscribe, do all those things. Help us get the word out about this important topic, which is specifically, how do we use our smartphones well? We live in a world today that is bombarded by noise. And we believe at Freedom Coaching in this principle, this key principle of where your focus goes, your energy flows. And so if we're constantly being bombarded, if we're constantly distracted by a lot of things, then we are not going to be able to be as present with others in the way that we know that we want to. So the issue, though, comes up is there's lots of advice about phone use. It's all over the place. And especially if we're trying to get our life back, maybe we're finding our cell phone usage, our smartphone usage is out of control. Sometimes the advice is like, just delete those apps, or just be more disciplined, or just stop scrolling. And if you found that you've tried that and it didn't stick, well, there's a reason. See, anyone who's struggling with compulsive phone behavior, those instructions rely almost entirely on willpower. And as we talk about in Freedom Coaching, that if you're trying to break free from any kind of attachment, willpower alone doesn't work. It's like this. It's like trying to lift a weight without building strength. And you can do it briefly, but it won't last. So I want to draw from Stanford neuroscientist Andrew Huberman, who I learned this from a podcast a few years ago. He explained this beautifully. He said that dopamine is not just about pleasure. It's about motivation and the drive to pursue things. See, picking up our cell phones, we find that there's a great pursuit for dopamine. Actually, a part of the quote, let me give the quote again, and there's more to it. Dopamine is not just about pleasure. It's about motivation and the drive to pursue things. When we spike dopamine too often, we lower our baseline levels and make it harder to stay motivated. So when we're talking about our phones, this is a perfect example about dopamine. When we constantly check them or even think about checking them, we're training our brains to anticipate dopamine rewards. And over time, this repeated behavior strengthens neural pathways until it begins to function almost like a survival mechanism. And that's why losing your phone can feel panicky, or why a teenager may suddenly become irritable when they're asked to put their phones away. Maybe you've got one of these teenagers in your own life, or maybe you behave like that teenager. See, here's the key. The issue isn't the pursuit of pleasure itself. It's the pleasure found in the pursuit. And when we can interrupt the pursuit cycle, unhealthy behaviors become easier to change. So, for instance, when we can change the reflex, then what happens is we can get into a much easier chance of changing the behavior. That behavior will shift. So when the behavior shifts, the desire for the unhealthy habit naturally diminishes. Now, think about this. In our own work at Freedom Coaching, we work with lots of men and an increasing number of women who find that they have this compulsion to pornography or an attachment to pornography. And their gateway to that is their smartphone. So what if we can go and reduce our desire for the smartphone? It can help with our desire and craving for pornographic images, making it very clear that we believe that a whole transformation of mind, heart, and vision is really important for lasting healing. And that's why it's not simply about stop the cell phone usage. It's much, much deeper than that. So here's some good news. We can create structured, where'd it go? There we go. So we can create structured, simple practices around phone use that produces significant benefits. And we're talking about clearer thinking, sharper attention, and lower anxiety. A study that surrounds this, which we'll put the notes in the podcast, said 3 weeks of smartphone screen time reduction to less than 2 hours a day showed small to medium effect sizes on depressive symptoms, stress, sleep quality, and well-being, suggesting a causal relationship rather than merely a correlative one between daily smartphone screen time and mental health. So I remember, I don't have the details in front of me, but I think this is about a year ago. In the Netherlands, there was a woman who was dealing so much with anxiety that she got a court-ordered approval to euthanize herself. And she was only 29 years of age. And my question to her and to her doctors and court, how much time does she spend online? How much time does she spend on her phone? See, we're finding here, as you can see over my shoulder right here, the anxious generation finds that smartphone usage is creating an incredible amount of anxiety. And if I were that judge, I would have said, okay, no, we're not going to go and euthanize you. But for 6 months, you are banned from using your phone. And every day for 2 hours, you need to go outside 6 days a week, touch grass. And if she did that and came back 6 months later, I think she'd be a different person. So let's say a prayer for that woman. But you don't have to get anywhere near that. And so what we want to do is say, yes, we ask the question, am I in control of my technology, or is my technology in control of me? And if we're finding that we're reaching for our phone, just like Gollum would want to reach for his ring, then that's a problem. So real science is telling us that when we reprogram our phone habits intelligibly and intentionally, the benefits are measurable. And we really have much to gain by learning to use our phone in a way that integrates with our lives rather than letting it control you and control us. So this is why we have this thing called the phone plan. And this is a set of 5 practical protocols designed to help you regain authority over your technology. See, life is meant to be lived with intentional freedom. That's what we believe here at Freedom Coaching. And this includes the proper use of your smartphone. And now keep in mind, we do a whole lot more at Freedom Coaching, freedom-coaching.net, than just teach people about proper use of their cell phone usage. So the phone plan is one tool within a larger process of transforming mind, heart, and vision. So first on this list is what we call RBC. RBC stands for release, breathe, check-in. Release, breathe, check-in. Say it with me. Release, take a belly breath, and then check-in. What are you feeling? All right, what does this mean? So this is 5 seconds. This whole thing takes 5 seconds. So first is saying release. It's a trigger word, but a positive trigger word as opposed to what you might hear in our world today. You're triggering me. No, this is a positive one where I can let go of things where I used to be. Then we breathe, helps us get into our body, helps to calm down a little bit. And then we can ask, what am I feeling? See, many of us, we just, based on especially the shall we say, the addictive nature of the cell phone use is we're just grabbing for a phone, grabbing for it, instead of being aware and in tune where we're at. So when we're in tune with ourselves, then we can begin to become in tune with others. And that is how you create connection, a real relationship. It's something that we're looking for in a lot of our social media usage. But again, the way in which social media is used today is about getting those likes or getting those, getting just find out what's the next thing and the next thing, and that's creating our anxiety. So what we're trying to do here with RBC is to help us become aware of our emotions, and it's our emotions that drive behavior. And if we can correctly identify any uncomfortable emotions that happen before we act, then we can respond intentionally instead of reflexively. And that is an awesome thing. Number 2, state your purpose before touching your phone. See, before you pick up your phone, say out loud, why are you doing this? If your intention is something like, I'm going to scroll Instagram for 30 minutes, or I'm going to watch porn, it might sound ridiculous because that's exactly what it is. And that's exactly the point here. When we verbalize our intention, this activates conscious awareness. We're not simply going emotional. We're not in teenage brain mode. We're allowing our thinking brain to have control here. And that's important. What this does, it interrupts automatic behavior. This weakens compulsive loop, and strengthens our executive control. And that's an important thing. Number 3, interrupt the reach. Stop, look, count to 10. So every time your hand reaches for your phone, stop, take a look at the screen, and count slowly to 10, or maybe even say a brief prayer, maybe a Hail Mary. And because this isn't just about waiting, it's training your nervous system to understand that you control your impulses, not your impulses controlling you. See, slowing down strengthens patience, and this is foundational not only for self-mastery, but for love, for maturity, and relational presence. That's a great thing. Number 4, bury your phone. See, if you keep your phone out of your hand and off your desk, this can help keep, out of sight, out of mind. See, unless you have a clear, legitimate purpose for using your phone, store it in your bag, put it in your jacket, put it in another location out of reach. For instance, I'm recording this podcast here, and the invitation is my phone is nowhere near. I can't see it here. It's actually behind my computer. I'll get to it when I'm done with talking to you lovely people. But right now, I want to be fully present to what I'm doing here. See, when I remove it from my visual field, this reduces my attention toward it. Same thing for you. See, physical distance reduces the automatic response, and this lowers that impulsive behavior. And if you want a bonus practice here, during your meals, keep your phone off the table. See, a visible phone subtly communicates that something or someone else has priority. If you want to have healthier relationships, we want to have more connectivity. We want to be fully present and fully in the room with the other person. And when we remove that, just the presence of the phone, it fosters genuine attention and relational intimacy. Number 5 is turn your phone to grayscale. You want more time in your day? Switch your phone to grayscale. See, research shows that this can reduce usage by up to nearly 50 minutes per day. Grayscale acts as an intentional design friction. So without the bright, saturated colors, the content becomes less visually stimulating. This disrupts automatic behavior and encourages more mindful engagement. And it's a brilliant example of effortless self-regulation. So you don't have to rely on willpower or constant mirroring. I know I'm an attractive guy, but put me on black and white. You might find me not as attractive and then not as interesting. So after this podcast, you can go turn on grayscale, and it's going to reduce that attention there. So the only question you have here is, what are you going to do with your extra 50 minutes every single day? See, this is a roadmap. Each step of this is designed for practical implementation where you can build real freedom and control over your digital life. So step by step, this can transform your reflexes into intentionality. And with this, they'll reclaim time, focus, and presence. What do you think? What do you think of these 5? What would happen if you actually implement this? Or are there other things that you found have been helpful in your life so that you can take control of your technology? Go ahead and sound off below on this podcast or anywhere you've seen this on social media and let us know your thoughts. With that, I'm Steve Picorni. This is the Redeem Vision podcast. Until next time, God bless you. And remember, nothing is wasted. Everything is redeemable.
The Redeemed Vision podcast is an outreach of Freedom Coaching. To learn more, check out freedom-coaching.net and follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and MeWe.